Following program is for training purposes in TV news education. Some copyrighted material is used and is credited on screen. However, no more was taken than was necessary to tell the story of the event. YBA claims fair use of materials.
Hello and welcome to K Sports Sunday. I'm Liam Mailer. Today is November 11th, otherwise known as Veterans Day, where we salute all of our veterans around the country and other veterans that have passed away. Now, every team around the NFL also saluted their veterans today, including the New England Patriots, who faced off against the Buffalo Bills here in New England. More on that story, we go to TJ.
Thanks, Liam. The Patriots did advance their lead in the AFC East as they beat the Buffalo Bills 37-31. We have some video highlights for you on that one. Stephen Ridley started off the game. He got a goal line touchdown right there. And Danny Woodhead, he had a 17-yard rushing touchdown right there. And Brady to Gronk. Not the prettiest catch ever, but a touchdown nonetheless. That's a touchdown for Rob Gronkowski. The Patriots advanced 24-10, but the Bills soon fight back as Ryan Fitzpatrick finds Scott Chandler in the end zone before the half. Tom Brady right here, he's escaping pressure, and he finds Danny Woodhead for his second touchdown of the day. This one will be his passing touchdown to move to a score of 31-17. And Fred Jackson, as you can see here, the ball leaves before his knee is on the ground. He fumbles on the 1-yard line. A very costly fumble for the Bills. The Patriots would move on to a score of 37-31 after the Bills score. Right here, towards the end of the game, you have Devin McCourty in the end zone with a very clutch interception right there. The Patriots take it 37-31. And final numbers for the day, Tom Brady, 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. Stephen Ridley, 22 carries, 98 yards and a touchdown. Danny Woodhead, 1 rush, but for a 15-yard touchdown, and 4 receptions for 46 yards and a touchdown on there. I'm going to send it over to Jason with the back talk set.
All right, thanks, TJ. I'm Jason here with Benji and Tom. So I just want to point out, the Patriots, everyone's saying how bad their defense is, but in 2 of the past 3 games, think about it. Their defense had bailed them out late in the game. We had, against the Jets in overtime, Rob Ninkovich forces a fumble against Mark Sanchez to win the game, and then today we had a Devin McCourty with the interception to clinch it against the Bills.
But they still gave up 31 points against the Bills. That shouldn't really happen.
Devin McCourty comes out with an interception, then it's okay.
That's one play. That's one play.
A win is a win.
Well,
yeah, it is.
It's
not a pretty win, but I know. It's like the one against the Jets. It's not a pretty win, but it's one you take.
Right, and the Patriots, I mean, if their defense can be as aggressive as they are on the last play of the game, whether it's in the fourth quarter.
It can be great.
Or,
it can be great, yeah.
Right, they could be amazing. And, we saw that against St. Louis, only, except for that first drive, it was like a 50-yard touchdown pass from Sam Bradford.
Yeah.
That defense was stellar for the rest of the way. So we'll see. Hopefully the Patriots defense will improve.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So as TJ mentioned, it was Brady 237 for 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Stephen Ridley 22 carries, 98 yards and a touchdown. Ryan Fitzpatrick 27 for 40. Also, he had 337 yards and 2 touchdowns. Greg Jackson 16 carries for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that was some good talk about the Patriots, and we'll send it back to TJ.
If you might not know, I am a resident Atlanta Falcons fan, and also if you might not know, the Atlanta Falcons moved on to 8-1 this week, losing to the New Orleans Saints 31-27. With 2 minutes left, the score was 31-27 New Orleans. And you want to know where Atlanta was? Atlanta was on New Orleans' 1-yard line. First and goal from New Orleans' 1-yard line. And they did not convert a touchdown. They start their first play on that drive. Dirk Coder decides, let's pass the ball on first and goal at the other team's 1. incomplete pass. Matt Ryan just choked in these last 2 minutes of this game, and I do not usually slander my quarterback like that. Matt Ryan choked. And so Michael Turner, if there's one thing this guy knows, it's busting it in on the goal line. In the past 2 years, he's been in the top 5 in terms of running backs for rushing touchdowns and attempts rushing. Michael Turner could bring the ball in if they had went hit with him for 3 downs. They have a very agile offense. They have some agile quarterbacks they could have thrown in. Dominique Davis, very agile quarterback. They could have thrown him in to do a quarterback sneak, quarterback draw, something like that. They have a veteran fullback in Lusaka Polite, used to play for the Patriots. He is a goal line menace. He could run the ball in a second. But no, they decide to pass the ball. 2 minutes. If they ran the ball, even if they didn't get a touchdown on that first down play, they could have kept the clock running, and they would have eventually gotten a touchdown, so I thought, and that would have given New Orleans less time as they only had 2 timeouts left. But instead, they throw the ball on 1st and goal. 2nd and goal, they run the ball, no gain. 3rd and goal, Michael Turner rushes for -1 yards. 4th and goal on the 2-yard line. Matt Ryan, incomplete pass. And they get the ball back eventually because New Orleans punts and Atlanta plays solid defense. Their offense and defense clearly switched roles this week, as their defense is usually the one giving up big plays. Their defense played solid defense. They punted. Atlanta had 30 seconds to go 60 yards. They didn't do it. They're 8-1. Go ahead, Jason.
All right, thank you, TJ. That was fair riveting. And I just want to point out one thing. I mean, the Falcons, Matt Ryan, not only has he mastered the 2-minute drill, he's mastered the 1-minute drill, but a big part of that has been Michael Turner. And I agree with you. I don't understand why you don't run it on 1st down. But now I believe we'll be going to
I don't understand how you don't convert from the 1-yard line. I do not understand
It
that.
happens
4
sometimes.
tries.
I
It's
just
crazy.
don't understand
You have
that.
4 tries.
All right,
It's
go
crazy.
ahead.
All right, now I believe we're going to have some scores here for you in the NFL. We will start K Sports Sunday update. Always love those. And we will start Cincinnati over the New York Giants, 31-13 in a trap game for the defending Super Bowl champions. Tennessee over Miami, 37-3. Chris Johnson exploding, 23 carries for 126 yards and a touchdown. Here we have an NFC North matchup. Minnesota in basically surviving elimination over Detroit, 34-24. Adrian Peterson, 27 carries for 171 yards and a touchdown. And also, as TJ mentioned, New England over Buffalo, 37-31. And I believe we'll have more scores coming up. Oh, we have more scores coming up in a minute. We'll toss it back to Liam and TJ. Guys?
All right, TJ. So, obviously a bunch of big games there today, but we're going to move on to the biggest game in college football.
Definitely.
This week, as we will now go to the highlights of Alabama, Texas A&M. All right, first play here, as we're looking, and Michaels runs for 15 yards to get Texas A&M inside the red zone on their first drive. And then it is driven in for a touchdown by Michael once again for a 1-yard touchdown to give A&M a 7-0 lead. A&M again, Michael dropping back, makes a throw to him to swoop in the touchdown, 10-yard touchdown pass, 14-0 A&M. And then Manziel rushes in for a touchdown, giving A&M the 20-0 lead. They would fail the point after. And then Alabama would throw a deep pass to Kennedy, Kennedy for a 24-yard touchdown pass to give A&M the lead. As they would then win on a Everett pick on 4th and goal, as Texas A&M number 15 upsets Alabama number 1. And in the AP polls, Alabama is now number 4, giving up their lead to Oregon, who is now number 1. So we're going to go over to the back talk set for their opinion on the game.
All right, thanks, guys. So Alabama going down to Texas A&M. Texas A&M is 15th. Is 15th in the nation. Their first year in the SEC. And one highlight that we did not have, let's see here, was an interception at the 2-yard line with a minute and a half to go by Dejazor Everett.
Just
for
like the end of the
Texas
Patriots
A&M.
game. So defense comes up in clutch situations and wins the game for them, I guess.
Right, I mean, it's a goal line stand. You're on the road against the top team in the nation. It was 29-24, Texas A&M, which ended up being the final score. And their quarterback, John Mazel, he's also known as Johnny Football, 24 for 31 passing, 253 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns. Then on the ground, 18 carries, 92 yards, and no touchdowns. Pretty amazing for Texas A&M. Tom, what are your impressions on the game?
I think it was a good win, but, you know, I don't watch college football. I didn't do my research like an idiot, so I really can't put my input on this.
That's right. I mean, what do you think about just the top team going down?
That's a good feat if you're the road team. I mean, if you're a road team, not the favorite, going into a big building or a big stadium, not projected to win, I think that's a good confidence booster for you.
Right, that's definitely a very good point about Texas A&M going on the road. You usually drop down more in the rankings if you lose at home, but regardless of if you're the top team. Benji, your impressions?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very surprised. I thought Texas A&M would lose by a lot. Of course, they're on the road trying to beat #1 seed in the NFL, not the NFL, excuse me, in college. And I think it was very tough for them. I mean, they're almost expecting to lose themselves. They're undefeated at home, so they dropped down a lot in the rankings, just like you said. I'm very surprised.
Right, and how does Alabama move forward with this after losing?
It's a loss, just like the Falcons. They have to take the loss and just figure out next week how to beat the team they're playing.
Right, and Alabama, I mean, they had this same thing last year. They were undefeated. They lost in overtime to LSU 9-6. They ended up getting into the BCS championship system, or BCS championship game, excuse me. They ended up beating LSU 21-0, I want to say.
Yeah, sounds about right.
LSU did not have a first down until the fourth quarter, and scoring 29 points for Texas A&M on the road against the top defense in college football is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So now the 3 undefeated teams are Oregon, who beat California 59-17 last night.
It's a pretty big win for them.
Yeah, you have Kansas State, who beat TCU 23-10, and then Notre Dame, who beat Boston College 21-6. So who do you think is going to get into the national championship game, Benji?
I do think that Notre Dame will probably get into the national championship game because the way they've been playing, only giving up 6 points to the BC, even though they're not that very good of a school. And the other team, I just think whoever can really get there, I have no idea. It would just be some other team, I guess.
Tom, how about you?
Well, the college football kind of playoff system really confuses me with all the bowl games, so I have really no idea. It just puzzles me.
It is confusing, although supposedly in a year or two they might be able to institute
a four-game playoff.
Four-game playoff.
The 4 best teams would go and play, and then the 2 best teams will go into their championship game, which would be more interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to say Oregon and Kansas State. Oregon has a very explosive offense, I think. I mean, it's scoring 59 points. It scored 70 against Colorado, 70-21, I want to say, was the final score, 70-14, something like that. And I think Kansas State, they have a good defense. I think they have a good enough offense. Notre Dame was pretty lucky to beat Pittsburgh last week. Scoring 21 against Boston College, I don't think is good enough. BC shut them down in the second half, because where the defense has really struggled for the rest of the season. I think it's going to be Oregon and K-State, maybe Notre Dame. I don't know. I'd see them going to the Rose Bowl, maybe against Florida.
Sounds about right.
Not Florida, sorry, Alabama. All right, so that's good talk about college football. We're going to send it back to Liam and TJ now.
Talking about college football, going into this game, the Oregon game, their running back, Kenyon Barner, he was in the talk for Heisman maybe, but exiting the game, he had 20 carries for 65 yards, so clearly he's not in the, well, he could still be in the talks, but I really think that their quarterback, Marcus Mariota, really advanced into the Heisman talks. He threw 0 interceptions, but 377 yards and 6 touchdowns. So
I mean, 6 touchdowns, that's speaking for itself right there.
Exactly.
You don't see that happen very often. I mean, the only thing that's even comparable to that, and by a lot actually, Geno Smith absolutely
and
going
Mariota
crazy for West Virginia earlier this
leading his team to an undefeated season so far too, so that he could definitely be in the Heisman talks.
Yeah, now we're going to go to break here, but when we get back, we're going to have some Celtics talk for you guys right after this.